episode 21. I have a very special guest today. I know I say that every week, but this it holds true today. I have Hope LaFuente here. A lot of people know her as Hope Myron also. That was her maiden name, but she's been married for 20 years. Hope LaFuente. She's somebody that I grew up with. Potter School, Flint Central High School, class of 95. She is one of my best friends, and she is breaking a barrier today. She's the first female guest that Dan and I have had on the show. And she's the first person that I asked also. And Hope, I am so glad to have you on the show today. Welcome to the show, Hope.
Yay,
Welcome,
thank
Hope.
you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Well, that's good. Hope, my first question is during the quarantine, okay, everybody? Well, for the people like us that are actually trying to be safe and keep others safe, tell us a few things that you've been doing during quarantine, and if in fact you've been doing anything exciting. I know you have.
I painted a whole bedroom.
Wow.
I painted a mural. I landscaped a whole plan for my backyard for gardens by squared out and exactly the measurements. Dion helped me. Dion helped me measure it. And so I'm a visual person though, so I needed to have like wires and ropes and whatever I could find to like lay out my garden beds in the back. And
Okay.
so
Aw.
because it looked crazy. We had like electrical wire laying all over, and I heard the neighbor say, "What do you think she's doing over there?" So I got that done, cleaned the basement, cleaned the garage. We washed and cleaned the inside and outside of our windows and all of our whole house. So we've been busy.
Yeah, I figured that. I know you always stay active. Now, I know you moved to a different town. I'm not, it's nobody's business where you live now, but I know you moved 20, 30 miles away from Flint. And I know you're a hometown girl, born and raised in Flint. Pretty much lived in Flint all your life, Davison a long time. How do you like living where you do now? And do you feel like you're far away from Flint? How's that transition going?
It's like part of me, because my shop is in Flint, so I'm still there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But like I live in Holly and my address is Holly, but like I feel like I still live in Flint. Just because I don't know. It's hard. Well, today, so like for example, I miss being closer, I guess, a little bit. Like today, I went to my mom's house.
Okay.
And my grandma used to live on Whittier, and then my Uncle Bob bought her house. Well, he passed away recently, so my grandpa had all this stuff in the garage and stuff, and it's just like, well, I'm gonna do this while I'm there, and I'm gonna do this, and like we went to Wojo's, and it's like, and then I'm like, well, I got a 45-minute drive home, so sometimes it's hard in that sense, because I still have a lot of people and my businesses over there, so
Mm-hmm.
I just try to round it up and do as much as I can while I'm over there. I don't know. It's hard sometimes, but it's closer
Okay.
for Dion. He lives down. He works down in Detroit, so it was like a more even time for both of us because he was driving from Davison, and that was so far, 50 minutes.
Yeah. So the commute is better for Dion then.
Yes. And
Well,
and gas,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm only 3 days a week, and he's 5, so that makes a difference.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to your store here in a minute. What now? I remember. Before I get to my first question, I'm gonna give a quick shout out on behalf of Hope and I that today is our 6th grade teacher's 80th birthday. So
Yeah.
Hope and I want to say happy birthday, Mr. Bach.
Happy birthday, Mr. Bach.
Dan,
Out!
Hey, Dan, Mr. Box showed up to our Potter party a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was good to see. He looks like John McEnroe. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's the one that brought all the old yearbooks, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that was
I have all those.
awesome.
Yep, I have all those yearbooks.
Yeah, he gave them to you. Everybody was taking pictures, and I found like Brett, my brother, and when he was little.
Yeah,
So cute.
yeah. I can't wait till we can do that again.
That was fun.
Now, Hope, I remember you worked at a bookstore at the Cortland Center. What was the name of that bookstore? I know you worked there for a long time. What was the name of that bookstore?
B. Dalton.
B. Dalton's. Okay, now I know that. Okay, when you worked there, now Dan, Hope isn't the type of person that just punches in a time clock and that's it. You know, when Hope works at a job, she's like involved and like does things for kids and all that stuff. Tell us about your experience at B. Dalton and maybe like a couple things you may have done, maybe like read some books to maybe some children or whatever. Because I know you worked there a long time.
I did. I worked there from 97 to 2006. And then you remember the Barnes and Noble came. So I went there after. But
Yep.
B. Dalton, honestly, the best thing about that job was the people. And I'm still friends with, we still do a B. Dalton get together. Like, and my manager was so good, Tina. I appreciate that time because it kind of, I mean, I stayed there for so long, so I was a manager later. But it taught me a lot. I learned a lot about literature and books, and it was small, so we couldn't do a lot of events there because it was really small. But I do remember we did I used to do face painting. I did read a story outside in the mall once, and we did have like special guests who came and read, like the one lady from the news, like Angie something.
Angie Shramsky.
I don't know her
Now her name is Angie Hendershot now, but it used to be Angie Shramsky. Blonde, tall, pretty blonde.
Really
lady.
tall.
Blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's older than us though.
Yeah, Angie Shramsky at the time when you worked at B. Dalton. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the people was I missed like we knew our customers so well there that like basically when books would come in, we would just have these bags under the counter with their names on them of all the books we knew that they would love. And so they would just come in and then they would just buy the whole bag. That little store, I feel like that company, one of their biggest mistakes was closing all those little stores. That little store made more than millions of dollars, and they closed it. I can't believe it, but now I think everybody's reverting back to the smaller.
Oh, okay.
Like the mom and pops.
Right. Now Dan, now when she said she did face paintings, I got to tell you something about Hope. She's like an artist. You know how, Dan, like when you were like in grade school, how there was like those couple of kids that could draw really, really good and it just came natural to them?
Yep.
Where they could like draw Garfield in a matter of like 30 minutes.
Yep.
And it doesn't even look like a drawing. It looks like it came out of a book. That she has that talent. She possesses that talent. She can draw really, really good.
I have one of those children myself that is
awesome.
just like that.
Sydney or Danny?
Sydney.
Oh, cool. Happy birthday, Sydney, by the way.
Yeah, she's getting ready to turn 16.
Okay. Yep, that's Hope is very talented, man. I'll get into that later also. Now Hope, you work at the Flint Farmers Market now, okay? A bit of Earth, okay? A store that I've been to quite a few times.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful store right there. If I'm not mistaken, it's on the east end of the building.
Yep.
It's right next to the Vietnamese. There's like a Vietnamese
Ma Meng.
Gourmet whatever. Yeah, that too. Dan, you're an Army guy. Do you know what the hell that means? Bombay, whatever.
Ma like mom, Ma Meng.
Mom Ming. Yao Ming. Okay. But But I know, no, they got good food though. I'm not making fun of them because every time I go to her store, I eat there. They have great food.
They do.
Now, how long have you been working at that store? How long has the Flint Farmers Market been, the new one, been open? And how long have you been working there?
Well, the new one opened in 2000. I can't remember if it's 2013 or 14, but I opened at the old market in 2011.
Was it a bit of earth at the old market too?
Yep. But I
Okay.
was 8 by 9 feet,
Oh, okay.
so I was smaller.
Now, what kind of store is that? For our viewers that are watching, what do you have at the store there?
You know, every people ask me this, and honestly, the best answer I have is that it's everything I love. So there's like books and mostly children's books, and I have crystals and minerals and a lot of nature things. Some local stuff like Flint stuff in Michigan. But it's pretty much a kind of like I think from having that background at B Dalton and Barnes and Noble, I just know what people are want to buy. I don't know how to explain it, but
Is it more like holistic stuff?
I do have some holistic stuff. It's um I mean, because growing up, my family loves nature, and so I always loved stones and stuff. And we would go to the beach, and basically my whole family is up looking for rocks. So at the old market, there was a rock guy, but he decided not to go to the Flint market. So I kind of took over that just to try it, and because books were always my kind of main thing.
Huh?
But then as I started to learn more about crystals and stuff, I kind of that's right up there. So books and crystals are my best sellers.
Okay.
And like fossils and that type of whatever cool. Like I don't know. I just know when I see it, I'm like, yep, I have to sell this. I guess it's like a retail intuition.
Yeah.
So what would be included in, let's say, like the holistic items or holistic goods that you sell in your store? Like, are we talking
um,
like candles and
I have
like
candles.
crystals and stuff like
Yep,
that?
crystals, sage that you
Sage
burn,
sticks. Sage sticks.
sage, Palo Santo, and then I have like oracle cards and um, I don't know. I can't even think right now. What I mean, books. Books on like astrology and dreams and that type of thing too.
Okay.
I bought some sage sticks from there before. Do you know what those are, Dan? Sage sticks?
Yeah. Yep.
They look.
I see them in movies of people like lighting the sage and burning a sage to
Yeah.
get rid of evil
Oh, there's
spirits.
one
Yep,
right
just
there. It
like
looks
that.
like a
Yeah.
big ass Cheech and Chong joint is what it looks like. But I had I lit those in my house and it worked for what I needed it for. It definitely worked. And yeah, that's one of the things I bought from there. One of the last times I was in there before I moved to Arizona.
Sage
And
is. Oh, go ahead.
what is sage? What is it?
Oh, I was just gonna say, and it's becoming so popular now. So you really have to watch. Like I really watch where I get it from because some people are just basically going to the deserts and like basically raping them for like all the sage and stuff that grows naturally. So all of the sage and Palo Santo I get is like sustainably harvest, and the people who grow it actually are teaching other people how to grow it sustainably too. So that's really important. I think I mean, you want to know that it's a good, good,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Hope.
Earth friendly.
I think you're going to live to be 100 years old. You'll be one of those rare people that lives to be 100 years old.
Both my families do, so I probably on
Um,
both sides I have longevity.
oh, okay, that's good. Dan,
Oh.
she does a lot for the earth. She's like, like into the like I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like making the
Earth?
world a better place, the earth a better place, and this and that.
Yeah.
So like if the earth or world ever came to an end, it certainly wouldn't be Hope's fault because she does everything to save the earth. Now I say that to say this, Hope. I looked on my Facebook memories today, and it was 2 years ago today that we did that thing at Potter School. Where
Oh
we were
yeah, mine popped up too.
digging in the garden and all that stuff. That was
Yeah,
fun.
it
That
was fun.
Now, what was the name of that group that you were a part of? It was called like the East Side Cleanup Crew. Are you still a part of
Improvement.
that? Yeah. What is
East
that?
Side
You still part?
Improvement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do as much last year because like we moved and I had to get like my bearings of I don't know. It was like that was a big upheaval, but yes, I'm still friends with Megan Haza who runs it, and she's actually doing
I remember her.
more great stuff. I mean, she's amazing. She did the porch project where they go to houses on the east side, and they invite them to have plants planted in the front yard and like fix their whole porches up. And I mean, it's awesome. She does so much. We meet for coffee, obviously not lately because of all this, but um, actually something came up, and I thought to myself, oh, I need to like have coffee with her again. Or she's awesome.
Oh, okay,
She
that's
gets
cool.
stuff. She gets stuff done too. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I remember her. I remember her. She is a
Mhm.
hard worker, very nice lady too.
Yep.
Now, I have a question for you. Now it's a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Have you been social distancing?
Yes.
So have I. I have too. Dan, have you?
Yes.
Except,
Yes, I
I
have.
mean, we went to the greenhouse today. I don't know if that's.
Well, I mean, I know that you're going to be safe no matter what.
I mean, I wore
yeah.
a mask and had all the hand sanitizer and everything, and we
Yeah,
social distance.
I wear a mask too, but man, I wish my head wasn't so damn big.
I think people social distance for the most part, or I think some people get confused is like you're really not supposed to go. And I know Michigan, there was a big deal in Michigan where like Walmart stopped selling, or you weren't allowed to sell certain products, right? Because you're really only supposed to be out of the house for essential items, right? So that's why a lot of these, like, I mean, they even stopped selling seeds and art supplies. The Governor Whitmer, deemed all that stuff unnecessary, and you weren't allowed to buy it. So I don't know.
And then they opened them anyway, so it's like,
yeah,
well.
I only leave the house to go to the grocery store, or if I absolutely have a necessity to leave the house. Like, and necessity is not like, oh, I need to go buy a video game or something like that. It's for food,
Oh, hell no.
groceries, and I think a couple times I've had to send a couple packages, and that's the only times that I've been out of the house. Well, besides this past
Today,
weekend.
I guess.
So Dallas or Texas, and especially Dallas County, have they stopped this. There's no more stay-at-home order here. So that ended on the I want to say April 30th. So at the end of April, they opened things back up. So here, restaurants are back open. So you can do like half capacity thing at restaurants, and they have a lot of social distancing guidelines at the restaurants. So their plan, they lifted all this stuff. Bars and stuff aren't open yet. It's just restaurants, movie theaters, things like that. But they have to do it at 25% capacity. And then they have to change their table layout. So tables are 6 feet apart, and there's social distancing measures in place. And then they let it go for 2 weeks. And if after 2 weeks there's not a spike in reported cases, then they're going to open it up to 50%, and then go from there and raise the levels back to normal operating, depending on the medical cases that are reported due to coronavirus.
Oh, okay.
That's probably what we'll be next. That's what will be ours next.
Yeah, and I was upset because Michigan did extend theirs, because, like I said, my daughter's birthday is next week, and I had planned to fly home for her birthday and surprise her for her birthday. But I think 2 days before I was going to plan, book my flight, right around the time that the order was supposed to end, they extended it to the end of the month. So that kind of canceled my plans to go home to see my daughter for her birthday.
You'll just have to celebrate it at a different time.
Yeah.
That's what we do in our family. Like, we never celebrate stuff. Even Easter and stuff, we never celebrate it on the day because it's so hard to get everybody together.
Yeah. Hope, before I get to my next question, are you looking forward to going back to work? Do you have a time frame when maybe like the market might open back up?
Well, there are talks of the market opening in June, but only Tuesdays from 8 to 1. I just feel like I don't know if that's worth it for me. I mean, I feel bad for my customers because I have had a lot of people reach out and say, "I need your store, I need sage," and so that's hard for me. But I just don't know if it's worth it for me to drive 40 or 30 minutes, and
I agree. Hope I 100% agree with you. I don't want to get too much on the quarantine because Dan will start talking like he's a doctor here in a minute, like the way him and Fordham were the other day, and I'm not going to listen to that right now. Now, Dan, we're done with the quarantine shit.
I just have a quick question about your business. Like, are you allowed in Michigan to do like by appointment? Because I know a lot of stores here, especially before they lifted the order, you could do. They weren't open, but you could call and they would allow like one person to come in via appointment only. But you said because of the distance you live from your store, that may not be worth it, right?
well, also that, and I mean that's not a big deal really, but I mean I'm in a farmer's market, so we're huge. I mean, I don't know if they would like me to just be like, well, I know the whole market is closed and there's no security guard, but I'm gonna do appointments. I don't know. It's a tough.
Dan, you've been to the new Flint Farmers Market, haven't you? Before you moved?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do curbside pickup. I don't know. It's kind of been turmoil.
No, I know Hope wants to go. Hope wants to go 100%, or because Hope is, I can't picture Hope going there and half-assing it, appointments and this and that. But I understand what Hope's trying to say. Now, Hope, I'm gonna change the subject here. I know you're not modest when it comes to your sporting career, okay? I know you're not modest when it comes to that. But I do want to talk about like when you were a swimmer and a soccer player when you were in high school. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I have to cover that because you were the our 12th grade female athlete of the year. So I have to ask you a few questions.
Me and Catherine Ramsdell.
Catherine, which Catherine?
Ramsdell.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Most athletic.
Yeah, yep. You and Catherine were. Mm-hmm. But you were number one. She's gonna take a back seat. But anyways, you were a 4-year varsity soccer player. Now,
no, I wasn't.
You were a varsity.
Not my freshman year.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. They did recruit me at the end, but I was not. I was both. I was JV and varsity, and then my 10th grade.
If you played any kind of varsity your freshman year, you're a varsity player. Because you were probably, you were a varsity player.
I never played soccer in my life, so that was my first year. So I didn't really know what I was doing, which I was glad for JV because I learned about it. My mom's like, "What are you gonna play?" We didn't have soccer in my family.
Now, when you were a soccer player and a swimmer, it seemed like everything just came natural to you. Like I don't want to say that it was easy because swimming is never easy, but you were honorable mention all-state or all-state in swimming?
No, I wasn't. Not state. I was I won Valley my 11th grade year.
You won Valley.
Yeah, that's a big deal in swimming, kind of.
Well, yeah. I mean, swimming is like.
And I broke the record. Did I break it? I think I broke the record for breaststroke too at Central.
Yeah. Out of all the sports, okay, I was a football player, obviously. Out of every sport, I mean, swimming is by far the hardest thing to do. I don't care what anybody says. Swimming is because when you're swimming, you're working muscles in your body that you don't even know you have. Where did all this athleticism come from? Did it come from your dad? Because I know he was a hockey player for all his life. Where's your athleticism come from?
Probably honestly, it might be both sides. My dad's side is super athletic. And my brother too, and his kids are super athletic. And I've thought about it before, and I really think because when we're so young, like when we have family get-togethers and stuff, we are always playing sports. Like Connor, my brother's son, when he was like, I think Dion has video on his phone. He's like 3 years old, and he's cranking golf balls like past my parents' yard. Like, it's just, I think we're just brought up with it, which is kind of good. I'm thankful for it. There is one sport that I cannot play, and I did it for a little bit. It was volleyball. Forget it.
How long did you play that though? How long did you try to play volleyball?
Yeah, I did a couple like practices or wherever you like to go, and I'm like, nope, this isn't for me.
But I think had you set your mind to it though, you would have been really, really good because you're good
I
at
don't
everything.
know.
You're good at everything.
I'm not good at everything, but I don't know about that sport.
I
I
gotta
was
tell.
really close to playing softball. My
Really,
aunt Jill, my aunt Jill was a huge, great softball player. She knew Sue. What's her last name? Calvo.
Calvo.
Yeah, they were like good friends, and so all of this, they were all devastated when I didn't play, and I
Oh,
chose
okay.
soccer instead. But I like
How,
soccer.
how come you never played tennis?
Was that during swimming?
No, when we were in high school, that was during the fall. That was a fall sport.
That was swimming. That's why.
Swimming was during the fall.
Mhm.
I got to tell Dan something that you hope you've heard this a million times, but I have to tell Dan this because Dan hasn't heard the story yet. Dan, if I could go back, okay, go back in time, I don't care I wouldn't do anything different for myself. I'm talking about Hope here. I've always said this, and I even talked to my sister Angela about this too. Angela knows Hope. I wish that if I would have known that like Hope was going to be an all-world athlete when we were in high school, and like I said, Dan, she's being modest. She's being modest. She was really, really good. You know, when you're and Corey Ramsdell Catherine was number 2, but when you're the athletic female of the year in high school, they don't just give those things away, okay? If I could go back in time and I should have like got Hope into tennis where her and I could have been doubles partners. And I wish that my sister would have worked with her the entire time. And I honestly think that like Hope would have been playing like, well, not now because Hope's too old now. Hope's older than I am, so I can say that.
Not by much, but yes, I am.
1 week older than I am.
Yeah.
But like when Hope, late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, Hope would have been playing like in Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, under my sister's guidance. I wish I could go back in time. That's what I would have changed. I would have got Hope. I'd have talked her into playing tennis because you would have been probably.
I do like tennis. We used to play up at Potter just for fun.
You would have been a badass tennis player if you said to yourself, you know what, I want to be the best tennis player in the state. You would have been because you're very athletic. No, you're very athletic. You got great hand-eye coordination. When you do things, not just sports, but like projects or like when it comes to work, I know the energy and effort that you put into everything. You would have been one of the best tennis players in the world. I know that for a fact.
Well,
so that's what I would change. That's what I would change. I should have pushed. I should have pushed you to play tennis. Now I'm gonna get into another subject here that I talked to Brent about the last time Brent was on our show, and Laura and I have been talking about this for like 5 years now, and it's the real world house. Are you familiar like with when Laura and I talk about the real world house? Okay.
No.
Dan, you already know where I'm going with this because remember I asked Brent about it.
Yep.
Now, Hope, I want you to be 100% honest, okay, on how this would have went down, okay? Don't hold nothing back.
I'm afraid I won't know, but okay.
But do you know the premise that he's referring to? Do you know what the real world is?
Yeah, like the
MTV.
On MTV, yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but
where they put like 7 strangers in a house, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if we could go back in time, like let's say like when we were, let's say 19, 20, 21 years old. Okay. And this would have been a real world house where like we lived in a different country or whatever. Say we lived in London, England. And this is who had to live in a house for 2 months. It would have been Ray, Hope, Laura, Stephanie, Becky, Jenny, Brent, Chris Herrick, and Aaron. If we all lived in a real world house together for 2 months, how long would it take before shit got started on there where people start getting on each other's nerves or just
I don't think that long.
bickering because like I told Brent, and I don't care what anybody says, between me, Becky, and Jen, that's a lot of drama. That's a lot of drama. Not that all you other guys walk on water or anything, because you guys don't. Maybe other than Brent. But how do you think that if we all had to live together for 2 months, How do you think that would work out?
I don't think it would work at all. I'd be like, okay, I'm done after a week.
No, can't quit. No, you can't quit.
It's funny. Like Laura and I are best friends, like sisters, but we live together and we don't really live like we don't get along. I feel like we fought a lot.
You and Laura fought a lot?
I mean, we had a lot of tiffs. Yeah, there were like things.
I can't picture that.
I'm not a dirty person, but sometimes I can be messy, like with art stuff and like leaving clothes on the dryer. Like you should ask her about that. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I'm not gonna say I like regretted it or anything, but I felt like we were sometimes, I don't know about the railroad question. I feel like that wouldn't take long to kind of spiral downwards.
Who would get shit started on there? Who would be the one that would, get it all started? Would it be me, Becky, Jen? Because
maybe you, Ray.
Me? Dan, I know you don't agree with that, Dan. I know you don't agree with that.
I could see that.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Okay, like
no.
Raymond comes when he came into my shop a couple times. He's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna tell you what's going on. This is the story." And then you tell me like everything.
Oh yeah, I'm a gossiper. Yeah, I'm definitely
he's a
gossiper.
Plus, it doesn't take much to get on his nerves. Like he gets frustrated very easy. So if he's a gossip and running around telling everybody gossip, plus other people doing stuff is gonna like set him off. That leads to drama.
I don't think we'd have to worry about Chris Herrick.
I don't know about that because Chris. Now I can say this about Chris because like I said, he's one of my best friends. Here's what he brings to the table. When he's in a competitive argument or competitive banter, whatever word you want to use, Chris is one of those people who's always right. Don't like to be disagreed with, and he can get under your skin with the prima donna shenanigans. So he would definitely cause some drama too. Trust me, he don't walk on water either.
My memory of Chris Herrick is him and Brent, or maybe it was you, Ray. I can't remember, but it'd be like third grade, and I loved that movie Grease. You guys remember that movie Grease?
Yeah.
And I don't know how or why, but I know that every day I came up to Chris Herrick and I said, "Have you seen Grease? Don't you love it?" Or something like that. But I'll never forget that. And then I would just laugh and laugh because I don't know. It's funny. I'm not sure, but I just remember that.
At least you have Brent. They would just like whip out the guitar and start playing music to calm everybody down, right?
Right. That's true.
Come on, guys, let's sing a song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there was another thing, the Clue House. The Clue House. The mystery game Clue. Let me see. Let me try to remember the characters here. Let me see. I would be Professor. Now I hope that someday we could all like actually do this over a weekend where we're like staying in a big old scary house somewhere and got to figure stuff out. Let me see. I would be Professor Plum. Jack Little would be Colonel Mustard. Brent would be Mr. Green. You would be Mrs. Peacock, obviously. Jenny Perry, because she has the black hair, would be Mrs. White. And Laura would be Miss Scarlet.
Yeah.
And then if we're doing it like the movie, like Tim Weston would be Wadsworth, because Tim would be able to do the English accent. And then like in the movie, I don't know if you've seen the movie, but there was a lady.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies.
Yvette. Oh, it's mine too. Yvette. Yeah. I would have to say Beth Miller could be Yvette because Beth could look like Yvette. You know what I mean?
Yvette was the maid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Beth could look like Yvette. You know what I'm saying? No, you know what I'm saying? So how fun would that be to do that?
It would be. I actually thought about being Mrs. Peacock for Halloween one year, like a long time ago, but then I changed my mind, I guess.
Maybe. Come on.
Well, the costume, and then I was like, nobody ever knows who I am when I pick a costume. Like one year for the market, I was like the singer with the fruit on her head. like the
Yeah.
chica chica chica, like that
Yeah.
lady.
What was her name?
I forget it. I don't even know, but I was her for Halloween.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's a cool
Well, the
costume.
funny thing is because the market in Flint, really, have so many different ethnicities, you know.
Hmm.
So I'm dressed like this, and this guy comes in, and like nobody's saying anything about my costume, and I'm like, I mean, come on, I worked hard on this costume. So he's like, "Oh, I like your hat or whatever," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm whatever her name is for Halloween." He's like, "Oh, I just thought that's how you dressed." like, like people just expected it at the market that you're just a fruit that lady with fruit on her head.
That's a cool costume. I mean,
It was fun.
I
Carmen
think that,
Miranda.
is that
Yeah.
her name?
Carmen Miranda. Yep.
Yep, Carmen Miranda.
I can picture like Erica Badu wearing that on her head for some reason. I can
Yeah.
picture Erica
Well, she
Badu
did wear
wearing that.
those wraps. I love those wraps. But
Speaking of Erica Badu, Dan, I got to tell you how talented Hope is, and I'm gonna go like over like in a nutshell. I'm gonna go through all her talents. No, I'm not gonna go too much on the singing. I'm not gonna embarrass you or nothing, but like there's always two people that um, in my eyes are like the most talented people I've ever been around. It's my cousin Tino Marino, God rest his soul, he passed away, and Hope. Those two are the most talented people I've ever met. Hope, like I mentioned earlier, can draw anything. She could draw anything. She can sing really, really good. Like she can sing like R&B. She can sing country music. She can sing like 80s rock. She's like really, really, really good. Um, Obviously, she's a great athlete, because she was her and Catherine Ramsdell at the top of their class. She's like very, 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 very talented. And I'm gonna end kind of close the show on this. I hope I've always wanted to tell you this. I was gonna wait till the next Potter thing, but I'll say it right now. I want you to listen very carefully, okay?
okay.
Now, I'm serious when I say this. Out of all the friends that I have, Dan, out of all the friends that I have, obviously, like the people I grew up with in my neighborhood are very, very like special to me. There's like 10 of us. I hold them near and dear to me. And if you take like every person in the world and you take like all their closest friends, I would, everybody in the world should have a friend like Hope. They should have a friend like her because Hope is like very, very thoughtful. Like Hope sent me a couple Christmas cards over the years. Nobody sends me Christmas cards, okay? Nobody sends me nobody wishes me a happy birthday. Nobody, father, nothing. Nobody ever does nothing. Hope sent me a couple Christmas cards. I know she cares about me. Hope's like very, very funny. If you were around Hope a lot, you would like see like how funny she is. Like Hope and I are people watchers. We're people watchers. Me, her, and our friend Laura, we like to like observe people and just dog them, just make fun of them and shit. We like people watching.
I don't make fun of them, but they're interesting.
Not in front of their face, you don't. But between the three of us, yes, we do. Yes, we do. I wish that everybody had a friend like Hope. And if I had to like live another life again, somewhere else, like in a different country or a different state where I was somebody else, out of all the friends that I have, I would everybody, and I mean everybody, Derek, Phil, everybody. I would ask God, God, out of all my friends, there's only one person. I just want somebody like Hope to be my friend again. Because when you have a friend like Hope, you always have somebody to talk to. Because when I go visit her at her store, I get a little over dramatic with some of my stories, but Hope always listens, and I'm a good gossiper. I'll throw your business out there. I don't mean that all the time, but I'm a good gossiper. And like kind of like Alicia Barker, like when I went through a couple hard times, Hope was another person that was there for me, sent me a card or whatever, gave me her best. You're the only person, man, if I could do my life all over again, I just want God to send me a friend like you, Hope. because
Thanks.
there's nobody in this world like you at all. And I mean, you look the same. This is how she looked in high school, Dan. I mean, she looks exactly the same.
Wow.
Like how I called her old earlier and made fun of her, how she's a week older than me. If like when her and I are together and standing together, I look 13 years older than her. I mean, because she takes care of her, she takes care of herself. I got all this gray hair and shit. And,
no, I have gray hair.
but
That's
no.
what a quarantine does. I'm like,
Oh yeah, but Hope, listen, man, I just want to tell you, I love you very, 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 very much, and I'm glad that you agreed to be on the show today. And there's nobody that I would have as my first female guest other than you. And
well,
thank you for being my friend. And
yeah.
and you know I'm always there for you. I'm always there for you if you ever need me to talk or whatever. I will always be there. I love you very, very, very much.
I think we're all lucky too, where we grew up and we just had that neighborhood with everybody. I don't think I don't know if a lot of people have that. And then you grow up with like you're still friends now. I mean, I don't know. I think we had a special thing over there in Flint.
Yeah, we do have a special thing. Dan, what are your impressions of having Hope as our guest today?
Well, as far as being our first female guest, she did not disappoint. It's a very special honor to be the to break the women barrier on our show. I think it's been too long. I think we should have had someone on a lot sooner. But
I agree.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the choice to break that line on our show.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you know how this came about was I can't remember who it was. I wish I knew who it was, but somebody asked me, "How come you haven't had any females on your show?" And I didn't realize, that I didn't have any females on my show because I'm not a chauvinistic pig, where I'm not going to have females. I didn't realize that we didn't have any on the show, Dan. And when somebody brought that to my attention, the first two people I thought of was my sister and Hope. And I asked Hope first, and yeah, I made the right decision, I think.
Yeah, I think we had one idea before, because when you do a show about sports, it already makes it a little bit difficult to find somebody that stands out in the world of sports from the female perspective. And we had an idea, last year about someone. The ability to attain them kind of maybe a little bit challenging, but yeah, it's been too long since it's been too long since we've had a female on the show.
Yeah, and I'm very very pleased how today turned out. Hope, what is the address? What is the address of the A Bit of Earth store?
Flint Farmers Market, 300 East First Street in Flint.
Anybody who's watching this show, I highly recommend to go to the Flint Farmers Market and to go see Hope at A Bit of Earth. That's the name of her store. 300 East First Street. Is that what you said, Hope?
Mm-hmm.
300 East First Street in Flint, Michigan. It's a great store. It's very kid friendly. It's great of the spiritual sense. She's definitely the nicest person of all the store owners there. Not to shortchange anybody else, because I've met a lot of nice people there too. But I highly recommend.
It's a good place.
I highly recommend A Bit of Earth at the new Flint Farmers Market downtown, 300 East First Street, downtown Flint, Michigan.
But I might not be open till July. So don't come in June.
When it opens. Okay.
Yeah.
When they open back up, go there. And then go to that Vietnamese Yao Ming restaurant.
Ma Ming.
Yeah, go there
Sweet pieces too. Good. There.
Now, Hope, do you have a website? Do you have a website that people can shop online? Or
we're working on that, especially because of all this that's happened. So there are some too where you can like order and pay and then schedule a time to pick up also, which we'll probably incorporate even when we open full time. But I'm working on that because like Laura, who's in Arizona, and like I have friends in Florida and family in Texas, and they're always asking me, and I've actually had people who visited Flint and came to my shop and then messaged me later and said, "We loved your shop. Do you ship stuff?" But I haven't. I should have. I procrastinate. I'm trying to be better about it, but I meant to have a website this year and then I didn't, and so now boo. But
Well, if I could recommend a platform for you, but we're by no means sponsored by this company or anything like that, but Squarespace.
I
Squarespace
have
is
been looking at that.
they are very easy to use, very user friendly. You don't have to be a tech nerd to understand how to build your website on Squarespace. So that's a commonly used tool for building websites, and I highly recommend it.
I know it's a really pretty one, and I've been doing my research. The only thing I heard about that one is the e-commerce can be a little harder than like Shopify or something.
Uh-huh.
So I have the Square,
Yep.
and so I was thinking just now maybe I'll do a website through them, and then when I get like acclimated, I can like move up to another or have both.
Okay.
It's not that expensive, but thank you, because I have been doing homework and there's a lot of different ones out there. For sure. Like,
Hope can also be found on a bit of Earth can be found on Facebook also.
And Instagram.
And you can see all her projects and pictures of her store. And if you were to go there and visit her, if you see a gentleman working there that looks like Oscar De La Hoya, that's her husband Dion working there. Sometimes he covers for her. He's a very he looks like Oscar De La Hoya, Dan. Okay. Dion's a very good looking guy. He's very.
I don't even know who that is.
He's a boxer.
Oh, well, that's probably why.
No, okay. I'll say this. This Oscar De La Hoya. God, I am serious. I'm not trying to sound gay here, but no. When he was a fighter, every female on the face of the earth wanted Oscar De La Hoya. I'm just trying to say that he looks like Dion looks very young, even though he's our age. He looks like he's 28 years old. But yeah, that's her.
Oscar De La Hoya, what's his name? David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo. All these guys are known probably just as much for being handsome as they were being athletes in the sports they played in. Oscar De La Hoya was a pretty boy. He was this Mexican pretty boy, and he was that's.
Okay. I didn't do boxing. Our family was like hockey, basketball, baseball. So that's about my extent.
Now Hope does like her Michigan Wolverines, because I know Dion. Dion loves his Michigan Wolverines. So she's a Michigan fan. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're Michigan people.
Yep. Okay. Well, I think that'll conclude today's show. I had a lot of fun with Hope today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Talking about the old neighborhood, talking about her athletic career, talking about her art skills, and being a business owner, and it was a great conversation, and hope we made you feel comfortable.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yep, and I'm very glad that you decided to be on the show. So, do you have any parting shots, Hope, for the D-Suite Nation audience?
I mean, the best advice I can give, anybody out there who is thinking about owning a business is, if you're passionate about it, will succeed. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, I don't care what ethnicity you come from, but if your heart is in the right place and you are passionate about it, you'll succeed. That's basically what it comes
to. That's great advice. Dan, you better make that a short clip and post that. We do our short clips. Yep. That better be a short. That is great advice. That's the best advice somebody has given on our show since we've been doing the show. That's great advice.
It's just the truth. You have to be genuine. That's what people like. People like my store because I'm genuine and I love it. I love what I do. So it reflects, internally, your internally art, whatever.
Okay. Well, okay. Before I sign off, I want to give a couple shout outs. We want to say hello to Laura Ball in Arizona. We want to say hi to Beth Miller. We'll say hi to Becky Roy too. Hell, I'm in a good mood. We'll say hi to Becky.
Duke.
Jenny Perry, who I know watches this show, which I was surprised that she did, but she watches the show. Brent Hinson, who's a big fan of our show. Erin Searles. I know she watches the show, even though it doesn't seem like she does. I think she's going to watch this episode. Give a shout out to her. Chris Herrick, Stephanie Jackson. We're glad you're feeling better.
Yes.
And I think that pretty much covers my list. Did I say Beth Miller? I said Beth Miller,
Yep.
right? Okay, and Beth Miller. And to our class of 95, you know, it certainly doesn't look like we're going to have our 25-year reunion like we thought we were.
Right.
You know, but, you know, we want to give a shout out to our class of 95. That would have been our 25-year anniversary. So want to say hello to everybody there. And Dan, can I prevail upon you? Say a few words.
I just want to say it was a pleasure having our first female guest on today. Very, very lovely and interesting conversation with you today, Hope. And I was honored by your presence today.
Same.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
Both of you.
See, Dan, I told you, man, I have cool friends. You know, unlike your asshole friends from Davison, I have cool friends.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna tell Ryan you said that.
Oh, don't tell him that. Don't tell.
What, did you graduate from Davison?
Yes, I did.
What year did you graduate?
Oh, I can't date myself live on the podcast.
Oh my gosh. You know Mike Bice?
The name sounds familiar. Yes.
We grew up with him too. Okay.
Dan is 1 year older than Mike Bice. That's all. I just gave Dan's age.
Class of 94.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking, I mean, geez, that's not terrible or something.
I know. Dan looks old, but.
No, he doesn't.
Thanks, Ray. You look older than me.
Oh, I do not. Stop it. Okay, well, Hope, want you to continue to stay safe out there.
Yes,
and
you too.
tell Dion and tell your mom and dad that I said hello. Give them my best.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to the market opening back up.
Me
and
too.
seeing you at the store, giving you more gossip. Because, you know, I'm a gossip queen. I'm quite the gossip queen.
You're right. All right.
All right. Well, this is the D Suite Nation closing out. We can be found on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button. And I hope that all of our friends, all our friends enjoyed the show today. And we're signing out. And everybody take care of yourself. Keep doing that social distancing. And it's almost time to go back to work. So when everybody does go back to work, just be safe and follow those guidelines. And we're all in this together.